Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Mr. Stelios on Spurs, the best place to be in town on a Friday afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you live in the world. Thanks for being here as always. Smash like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill by now, people. As always, great to be here with you. I hope everyone's good. I hope your families are well. We've got a big game coming up this weekend. It's the six-pointer of all six-pointers. Some people are calling it the biggest game in 3 decades for Spurs. Personally, I think it's the third biggest game. The Champions League final was the biggest. The Europa Cup final that we won last year was the second biggest. This is the third biggest because it's all about survival, if that's your thing. Smash the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as always, we start every show with a reminder, ENIC out for things to change. Our hierarchy needs to change. Enough is enough. Stelagation Squad, choo choo, all aboard. Just out of curiosity, before we get going, what is your drink of the day? Are you having a cup of tea? Are you having a cup of coffee, a glass of vino, Chateau von Plonk? Are you having a beer? I'm having a cheeky little Cypriot coffee. Let's have a quick sip. Oh, man. That's really good. It's got some kick. I like it. Let me know what you're drinking. Let's say a quick hello to a few people. Sporting Journey, how you doing? I'm well. I hope you're doing well. Darragh Denton, biggest question: which die-hard ENIC outers be going to the gathering? I won't be there. That's for sure. RWTHFC, good evening, still on the chat. Good evening to you and the chat as well. Shroyd 10, big up, Stel, big up to you. Tot Spurs in the house, big up as always. The Ghost LDN, big up, Stel, big up to you as well. John George, hey, Stelios, what happened to the Spurs vibe video? It's been deleted. That's correct. Spurs, sorry, beg your pardon. Scott Spur, evening. Evening to you as well with the salute emoji. K Bassey's in the house. 7250, good evening, Stel. Baz Bassey, big up, Baz. Hope you're doing well. One King Spurs, hello, big up to you. Johnny Tottenham, oi, oi, legend. Oi, oi, Johnny. We've got Chris-B412Y Wi-Fi passwords in the house. Still, boy, big up to you as well. John Chivers Gilzine, what a name that is. Big up, still having a mug of tea. Do you know what? I do like a cup of tea. I'm not going to lie to you. I do like a cup of tea. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. I hope everyone's doing well. Let's get into it. It's the Spurs versus Nottingham Forest match day review. If Spurs win, it gives us breathing space. If Spurs lose, we are in deep, dire, murky waters. It's a massive game. So as it stands, the relegation battle looks something like this. It's fair to say that Wolves and Burnley are pretty much gone, barring a miracle. And the relegation really is for that 18th place. And it's going to be between West Ham United, Nottingham Forest, Spurs and Leeds. Now, West Ham are currently on 29 points, same as Nottingham Forest. Goal difference separates them. Spurs 1 point above the drop on 30 points. And Leeds with more breathing space than the rest on 32 points with a 3-point gap. So we're right in it. We're in the mud. We're in that deep pocket of hell. What are we going to do? Well, we've got to beat Forest if we want to stay up. Now, these are the games that are coming up in the league between Spurs and Forest. The games that Spurs have to play and the games that Forest have to play. So as it stands, Forest and Spurs obviously play each other this weekend, but then we've got some hard games coming up. We've got Aston Villa away, we've got Chelsea away, we've also got a tricky game away at Sunderland, who have fallen off a bit though, so I'm not so sure how difficult that is now. We've also got some tough games against Brighton at home, Leeds, another 6-pointer, and last game of the season, Everton, who traditionally we do quite well against at home, but they are in good form and they're fighting for a place in Europe. Whereas Forest, they've got a tough game also away at Chelsea and Man United. And they've got some challenging games at home against Bournemouth, who are always difficult, and Newcastle, but then they've also got to play Burnley at home and Aston Villa, who aren't in good form. You'd say Burnley is the easiest of games for them. So whose fixtures are easier after Sunday? I don't know. Maybe Spurs slightly easier. Is that fair to say? Would you say we've got a slightly easier running compared to Nottingham Forest? It's pretty even, isn't it? But I go back to what I say. If we beat Forest, we've got breathing space. If we lose to Forest, we're in deep shit. So one of the players people are talking about as being key to this game is Richarlison. Now, Richarlison, which is quite interesting to see here, this chart that you're looking at basically shows us how Richarlison's minutes per goal rate compares to the other key strikers in the league this season. Now, what's interesting about this is Richarlison has started fewer than half of the top flight games this season, yet he's got more than double the number of goals of any of his teammates. So imagine that. He's got double the amount of goals of any Spurs player, yet he's played less games. The comparison to the other strikers in the league, Erling Haaland needs to play 109 minutes per goal. Thiago, 134. Sesko, 145. Richie, 159. He's ahead of João Pedro at Chelsea. So this isn't too bad. In fact, these are good stats. So if we are looking at Richarlison to kind of be that key player, he's already been in a relegation battle with Everton, so he's got relegation experience, then it's fair to say that he's a player that, if we look at these stats, goals per minutes ratio compared to the other strikers, listen, there's a strong argument to say that Richie actually could be that key player for us in this relegation fight. The psycho pigeon, the super pigeon. Prue, 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 prue. Who would have thought it, right? Who would have thought it? Hotspur, you're asking about what's Leeds run like. I'm focusing on Forest and Spurs at the moment. When we play Leeds, the league table will look different at that stage. So I'll do a comparison when we actually play them. One Spurs King says Forest might be effed with those fixtures. Plus, they have 2 games against Porto in between. That's right. They're still in Europe. Will that be something that comes to bite them? We will find out. Broadbean says it's a bit sappy to say, but they are all key players from now on. No passengers. You're absolutely right. I'm just talking about Richarlison because a lot of people have been saying he could be key to the battle because he's been through a relegation fight before with Everton. So he's most probably going to start as well because we don't know if Solanke's got that injury. So I just wanted to cover a little bit on Richarlison. Tactically wise, what are we going to do in this game? Well, the last game we played in the league, our goal came from a direct passage of play. Vicario sent it long. Liverpool failed to defend it. And Mawani picked up the ball, beat a player, and then laid it off for Richie for the equaliser. Now, it's not so much the direct ball I want to focus on. It's the fact we played 2 up top. So you can see Richie and Mawani were both up top in this game. Is that something that we're going to do again, 2 up top, which does ask more question of defences? It doesn't have to be a long ball. It could just be we play down the flanks. And then in this picture here, this was taken from the midweek game against Atletico Madrid where Mateus Tel should have squared that ball to the back post. In fact, this is criminal, guys. It's absolutely criminal that he didn't square that ball. We've got 2 players on the back post, Archie Gray and Mawani. How he's not past that is beyond me. But what I'm trying to say here is the goal against Liverpool came from a long direct ball, whereas against Atletico Madrid, a lot more of our play came from the wing. Let's not forget Mawani's goal, the header, came from Tel crossing it from the flanks. So is it going to be more wing play or more direct play? we've got options, right? We do have options, and it's difficult to tell what Tudor is going to do. Attacking wise this season, Richarlison has taken the most shots. Simmons has taken the second most, and Kudus the third. Kudus won't be playing because he's injured. So really, we're looking at Richarlison and Simmons to try and unlock this game, seeing as they take the most shots. Inside the box, what's interesting is pretty much all of Richarlison's shots or headers come from inside the box. Matthias Tell, he's actually the second highest from shooting inside the box. So if we're going to take shots from distance, we're looking at Simmons. If we're looking at shots inside the box, we're looking at Richarlison and Tell. So is there an argument to say that the manager needs to start Tell because he is the second highest player at taking shots inside the box? In terms of big chances, most of them fall to Richarlison. Moani is the second highest for big chances that fall to him. So there's an argument to say maybe Moani needs to start. But does Moani take those chances? Most of the time, no, he doesn't. He doesn't actually convert those big chances as much. Odebert clearly isn't going to be playing because he's injured. Chances created in open play, again, Richarlison top and Moani featuring in the top three. So when we look at all the kind of attacking shots inside the box, outside the box, big chances, Richarlison is coming top for each and every group that we look at. Sorry, brought up the wrong sheet. So when we go back to the chart of goals per minutes played and Richie being fourth, it kind of stacks up when we look at the big chances created in open play. Keep bringing up the wrong chart, sorry. And the amount of shots taken inside the box and shots in general. Richie has to play. It's as simple as that. The pigeon has to play, people. In any which way we look at it, the pigeon has got to play. Love you, mod. If you need, love you, bro. If you need a mod, I'll be happy to do that. I'm not having any mods at the moment, other than the ones I've got. But if I do need more, Adam, I will add you. Logan, evening still. Pick up the chat. Pick up to you as well. John Chivers says, if we show the same drive as the Athletic game, I believe we will win. If we play the way we did against Atletico, yeah, I agree with you. We will play. We will play. We will win. There's no doubt about that. Evening to the Spurs bench. Hope you're doing well. I think Burnley could do us a massive favour. Maybe. Agree, Richie has to start. Yeah, I think he has to. I think he has to. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest, they've got problems because they're not scoring goals at the moment. So if we're looking at Forest, in the last, hold on, let me just look at the stats quickly. So they've scored 28 times only, and they've scored 0 goals in 30 of their matches. So they've played 30 games this season, and in 50% of those games, Nottingham Forest, they haven't even scored. Imagine that. No goals in half of their games in the Premier League. Obviously, that's down to Chris Woods being injured. And they've got Igor Jesus or Igor Jesus playing instead, and he's only scored 2 in 29. So where they had Chris Woods, who was scoring quite a lot of goals for them, he's injured. Igor that's come in has not Igor Tudor, our manager, but Igor Jesus, who's their other striker. He's only scored 2 in the last 29 games. So if we look at Nottingham Forest in terms of the last 7 games, shots 11, shots on target 26.1, shot conversion rate 4.5%, XG per shot. So what we're basically seeing from these stats is that Nottingham Forest, in terms of getting shots on target, they're one of the worst in the league. Shot conversion rate, they're the worst in the league. The XG per shot, worst in the league. So they've got a big problem up front, which is making me believe that if Spurs score 2 goals in this game, we win it. If Spurs score 2 goals, I will be surprised if we don't win it. If we're going to go by these stats and the fact that Forest haven't scored in 50% of their league games, and the striker they've currently got, Igor Jesus, has only scored 2. If Spurs score 2 goals, I think we win the game. Quickly want to show you this. This is a graph image even that shows us all of Nottingham Forest's recent shots. And if you look at their goals, they all come from the middle. So you've got 2 from distance and 3 inside the penalty box. So they're not really scoring goals from angles or wide areas, but even outside the box, they're not coming from diagonal areas. If you look at the stars on this graph, their goals are all pretty central. So if you do your homework, what this tells us is if you protect the middle, Nottingham Forest aren't scoring. All their goals are coming central. So if we protect that central area, we're pretty much shutting them out. This is Nottingham Forest's average shots outside the box. So in the first 23 games, only 4.34 of their shots came outside the box. That's now gone up to 7.85, almost double in the last 6 games. So clearly they are shooting more from distance now. Is that because they can't get close enough, or is that actually a tactic they're deploying? Again, if we block off the middle, especially outside the box, because this tells us that they're taking more shots from distance. You know, we concede a lot of goals outside of our box when Thomas Frank was manager. Do you remember the biggest complaint was we always concede from outside the box. We don't defend the edge of our box. Well, that's kind of somewhere that Forest like to operate in the last 6-7 games. So if we can actually fix that, I don't know how Forest are going to score in this game if we go by the stats. But as we know, stats are just stats, and they're a guide. They're not the answer. Cheers, by the way. Quick sip of my coffee. I hope you're well. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. I hope you're enjoying tonight's show. Let me know how you're doing. Let's quickly have a chit chat with some of you, make sure everyone's okay. One Spurs King says Richie and Danzo are the first names on the team sheet at the moment. It's fair to say, although Danzo was dropped midweek, wasn't he? Dreifer says a game before the international break where we need points, not a good combination. Historically, that is not a good combination. You're right. There is a stat on that, isn't there? Before international break, we always shit the bed. Find out what happens. Don't forget, this is a pressure game. When we played Fulham, there was pressure. When we played Crystal Palace, a lot of people said it's a must-win game. There was pressure, and we shat the bed. When we played Atletico Madrid, it's our last chance of winning a trophy. We went to Madrid and we shat the bed. So we've proven when the pressure is on, we're rubbish. When we played Liverpool, the pressure was off because everyone predicted a hammering. We turned up. And against Atletico's second leg, we were pretty much out of the tie. The pressure's off. And we turned up. Have we dealt with this dealing with pressure problem that has always come back to bite us? It's bitten us throughout this season. And remember Antonio Conte? This is club. This is club. They don't like pressure. They don't like the stress. We will find out. Could we be safe by Wolves, says Broadbean. I don't think so. I don't think so. Adam, I think it's the important goals that count, not the numbers. Well, is not every goal important? Is not every goal important? Big up Duncan Dumbledore. How you doing? Yes, the stream has been deleted from last night, unfortunately, bro. Lee says, hello, everyone. Hello to Lee. NRV ST123. How are you doing? Battered sausage and chips with weight and vinegar. Go easy on the salt, mate. Cheers for that, bro. Sam Porter. Hey, Stone all. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Dropkick Teacher. How are you? To be fair, they had 0 issues in that 3-0. You're absolutely right. When we played them at their ground, they had no issues scoring. Are we a different team, though, this time? That's going to be the big question, isn't it? Are we a different team this time? Don't worry about the Spurs show. Okay, he's just answering to some people in the chat. Broadbean, do you believe in stats then, Stel? I believe in stats, the eye test, and professional analysis all combined to formulate conclusions, thought processes, solutions. Just stats and only stats? No. Eye test plus stats plus analysis combined. That's how stats should be used. It's a bit like when you send out professional scouts. What they do is they use stats to narrow down the data. So let's say I'm looking at 20 players. The stats will narrow those 20 players down to 5. And then those 5 you go and watch. You don't go and watch all 20 players. The stats narrow down the data. And then you say, right, let's go and observe before we make a decision. Hello, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Big up to everyone in the chat. Hope you are good. Obs2K. We've also got Michael Oliver as referee. He hates us. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Gorb4 says, Stel, would you get rid of Spence this summer? No, I like him. I think he's a bad character around the team. Not at all. Did you see Jed Spence's sprint back in the last minute against Atletico Madrid to make that really crucial tackle? I just think he's been mismanaged, guys. I think a lot of our players at Spurs have been poorly coached and mismanaged. Listen, there's players I would get rid of. Ben Davies. Personally, I'm not a fan of Tell, but others like him. I would definitely get rid of Basuma, Bentoncourt and Maddison. I'd get rid of both because they're always injury prone. I think there's a question to say if Kulusevski's knee's gone, he's got to go. Is Mawani the answer? Probably not. So there's players I would get rid of. There's some I would keep. I would keep Jed Spence. I like Jed Spence. And if we had a manager like Poch, for example, he would make Spence a very, very good player. But again, it's all opinions. Each to your own. Hotspur, congrats on the 1K subs already. Thank you very much. Broadbean, putting aside the Enix stuff, where would you start with the rebuild still? Oh, listen, I'm going to do a whole show on that one day. But the rebuild, it has to start with a plan. If there's no plan, forget it. Right? We can't keep winging it and then throwing a grenade and blowing up the plan just because things don't quite go to plan. We just rip the whole plan apart. Sometimes you've got to tweak the plan, adjust, pivot. We just rip it up and start again. That has to stop before we do anything else. All right, back to the match analysis. Let's talk about goalkeepers. Apparently, Flappy Hands Vicario is having a hernia operation. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. We'll find out on Sunday. I never believe what the journalists say. God knows, but it's been reported that Vicario is injured, which means Flappy Kinski's going to be playing for Tottenham. Or what would I do? I'd play Brandon Austin. I like Brandon Austin. I know the coaches that coached him, and they all talk really well of him. Didn't he win man of the match against Newcastle last season? I thought he played quite well when we played Hoffenheim in the Europa Cup. I personally would start Brandon Austin, but is it going to be Kinski? Massive, massive call from Igor Tudor. And guys, it's a big if Vicario is out injured, I don't 100% know. These are just reports that I've picked up on today. But if he is out, Kinski or Brandon Austin has to come in. Let's see what happens. Clearly, Vicario is the best shot stopper of all of them. Kinski, he's had a couple of nervous appearances for Tottenham last season, this season. Is it time to give Brandon Austin another chance? I don't know why he was dropped and we bought Kinski last January. I never understood that. But I've been told that Vicario is out, but I'm not 100% sure. Earl is saying Vic will play on Sunday and have the op next week. Well, we don't know that. Gary's saying, I read that Vicario is having surgery after the game. Okay, so maybe it's after. Listen, guys, again, I don't know. I'm only going by what I've read. If he plays, he plays. I never really trust journalists and media anyway. If you know me by now, I don't really have much faith in the media. Goalkeepers. Let's compare. So, goals conceded outside the box this year, Vicario 11. And what did we say earlier on about Nottingham Forest scoring from distance? And Nottingham Forest, in the last 7 games, they have doubled the amount of shots they take outside the box. And who is not very good outside the box when it comes to goalkeeping? When shots come from outside the box, Vicario. So is this something that Nottingham Forest might look at? Might they just look at the joy that they can potentially find from outside the box? Nottingham Forest are taking more shots from outside the box. Our goalkeeper is one of the worst, if not the worst in the league at conceding from outside the box. Something for us to consider. Stels, Donnarumma, Verbruggen, Petrovic, they're the next worst goalkeepers at conceding outside the box. The lowest percentage saves shots outside the box, Vicario, he's the second lowest at saving them as well. So even the ones he saved, he's the second worst. Or is he the second highest here? Lowest percentage save. Yeah, he's the second worst. Okay. So again, the data tells us that our goalie doesn't like shots from outside the box. The data tells us that Nottingham Forest have doubled the amount of shots they take outside the box. These are things that we need to focus on a match day. I don't know what's going to happen with this. If Forest do score, put some money, if you're a betting person, that if Forest score, is probably going to be from outside the box. So what does Tudor do? How does he set us up? Well, so far this season in the Premier League, against Arsenal, we went with a 3-5-2. Against Fulham, we went with a 4-4-2. Against Palace, we went with a 3-4-2-1. And against Liverpool, we went back to a 4-4-2. We lost all of those games except for the game against Liverpool. So I don't know what the ideal formation is. The 3-5-2 clearly was a disaster because we were exploited down the flanks heavily. And you can see the amount of space on the flanks where our 3 centre-backs are, that if a team's got good wingers, they can exploit that. Against Fulham, we gave up too much space in front of our goal, not so much on the flanks. But nonetheless, we were more in that game than any other game. Against Crystal Palace, it was an absolute shit show. But you could say, was it the formation or was it the fact we went down to 10 men? But one thing's for sure, when we went 3 at the back against Arsenal and we went 3 at the back against Crystal Palace, in both scenarios, they were the heaviest defeats. We seem to concede less when we go 4 at the back. Again, this is the Liverpool game where we got a point. We went 4 at the back again. So for me, I think we should go 4 at the back. My concern is because Dragusin's fit, because Van der Ven's fit, because Romero's fit, and because Danso's fit, he might look at all those centre-backs and say, I'm going to go 3 at the back. My concern is when we go 3 at the back, we went 3 at the back against Arsenal, we got slapped. We went 3 at the back against Palace, we got slapped. The closest games were the 2-1 and the 1-1. The Liverpool and the Fulham games, in both of those games, we went with 4 at the back. I would like us to go 4 at the back. I think we look more solid. I think we look more structured. And we don't look like we're going to get absolutely battered. I don't know what Tudor's going to do. He's got all his defenders fit now. I hope he doesn't go 3 at the back. Let me know what you think, guys. What would you do? 3 at the back, 4 at the back? Big up to the 2 Mark Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to Cookie and Sheriff. They put out content pretty much every day. Those boys are die-hard Tottenham. How do you see us setting up on Sunday? Well, I think we will go 4-4-2, Adam. I think Tudor will go 4-4-2. I hope he doesn't go 3 at the back. The chat is talking about predictions. Shots on target will be a good bet, both halves and corners, says Lee Moody. Daryl Denton, only our fan base could have a coach parade. I wonder why we don't have a parade for beating City most seasons. Listen, we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. Big up, Jordan. Hope you're doing well. One Spurs King also says 4-4-2. Chris says 11 at the back and park the bus. Well, we need to win the game, right? We need to win the game. So we can't park the bus. We've got to be more attacking. I want 4 at the back, but he will go 3-4-3. I hope he doesn't go 3 at the back. John Shivers Gilzine says 4-4-2 suits our players. I agree with you there, just like I agree with one Spurs King. Hey, user, how you doing? Long time. Evening to you. Gary Officer says, I'd go with 4 at the back. Fits us better. I think everyone agrees in the chat that we're better off with 4 at the back. And again, guys, look, you know, we went 4 at the back against Atletico midweek and we looked pretty good. And the games went 4 at the back. I repeat, Liverpool and Fulham, they were much closer games. When we went 3 at the back, we got slapped by Arsenal, slapped by Palace. He's got to go 4 at the back, surely. He's got to go 4 at the back. Something else a lot of fans have been talking about is that we are now covering more distance when running. Is that going to be a factor in this game? Bear in mind, we've had more time to rest prior to the game against Forest, whereas Forest, they were playing abroad last night, went to penalties, extra time, more tired legs. They've then got to fly back to England, rest, and then play Tottenham. Now, since Tudor's been here, the distance we've run, the first game was against Arsenal when Tudor took over. We ran 113 kilometres. Then the second game was against Fulham, 116 kilometres. Against Crystal Palace, it dropped, but that's because we were down to 10 men. And against Liverpool, it went up again. So we are running more distance. The average under Frank was 108 kilometres. So we are running more. Now, what's interesting about this is a lot of fans will say, we're working harder, we're trying more. I would like to throw caution to the wind, okay? Again, someone asked me earlier on, Stel, are you just loving stats now? The eye test says to me, I don't think we're actually running more because we're working harder. Thomas Frank, he averaged 50% possession in the Premier League. So on average, we had the ball 50% of the time. Under Tudor, the possession stats in the league have dropped. We're down to about 40%. So we have 10% less possession of the ball under Tudor. So if we've got the ball 10% less, we're chasing the ball more. That's probably why the running stats are up, because we are chasing the ball more. Also, if you've noticed, we're pressing a hell of a lot more. Against Atletico Madrid, I thought our pressing was really, really good. I thought our pressing energy, the stats, sorry, not the stats, the pressing from start to finish was really good. So if we've got less of the ball, and therefore we're chasing the ball, and we're pressing more aggressively, the running stats are going to come up. So there's an argument to say, yes, we are working harder because we're pressing more, but we're pressing more and we're running more also because we've got less of the ball. We had more possession under Frank. So we've got to throw a little bit of caution to the wind when looking at running stats and understand what those stats actually mean. The simple thing, the lazy analysis, is to say, look at the stats. We're running more. We're working harder. Let's actually delve into that a bit deeper. Possession's down, pressing's up. It all goes hand in hand. By the way, there's nothing wrong with having less possession and pressing more. Okay, it's not a negative. It's just trying to understand why the running stats are up. I believe the running stats are up because we have less possession of the ball. Therefore, we're chasing the ball more. So the key man for Nottingham Forest is probably going to be Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White in midfield. And if we look at the attacking stats for Nottingham Forest, most shots have come from Gibbs-White, and then their striker, Jesus, and then it's Anderson. So like I said, Gibbs-White and Anderson for me are the two key players. The amount of goals scored, Gibbs White, 8. Hudson-Odoi from the wing, 3. And then there's 5 other players on 2. So although Jesus and Anderson have had a lot of shots, they haven't had many goals. One of those 5 players that scored 2 goals for Forest is actually Igor Jesus. Some more attacking stats. The biggest chances have fallen to Gibbs White. Wood, who's injured, is actually second. Can you believe it? And then it's Jesus, who doesn't convert well. The chances created in open play, Gibbs White again first, then Hudson-Odoi, then Williams. So I think it's fair to say, guys, that beg your pardon, I put the wrong image there. The key players we really need to focus on are Gibbs White, Anderson, and Hudson-Odoi, because he is their second top scorer in terms of players available, and Hudson-Odoi creates the second most amount of chances. So if we can contain Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi, especially from distance, because as we explained earlier, shots from distance are going to be a potential problem, then it's game on. So Richie for us is clearly the danger man, maybe Simmons, and for them it's Gibbs White and then Hudson-Odoi maybe. Interesting game. Interesting game. I would say that Spurs have got more momentum going into this game because we've got the point at Anfield and we beat Atletico Madrid in the second leg. Beg your pardon, of the Champions League. But Forest have just got through to the next round of Europe. So their tails are up also. What's your predictions for this game, everyone? Let me know. I'll let you know what my prediction is as well in just a minute, but I'd like to know what yours is. Come on, chat. Let me know what the prediction for this game is in your opinion. Rodney says, we are going to win on Sunday. Chris says, less possession, so we run more. Less pragmatic. I agree. Certain players were restricted to press, I think, under Frank, and that's the problem. If you play that sort of football, you have to go as a team. Correct. You must press as a team. Mark says, what was the possession stats for Liverpool versus Athletic games, given they were better games? The possession stats for Liverpool were very low. Very low. In fact, I think it was our second lowest under Tudor. The lowest was Arsenal, then I think it was Liverpool. Our possession under Frank was all in our own half. Probably, yeah. It probably was. John Chivers Gilzine, the players look fitter under Tudor Stel. Well, they're having to run more, so they have to be. Chris Wood is back in training, but is he fit to play? I don't think he is. It would be a big risk to start him because, listen, if he does start, that could be big for them. But how fit is he? Swazi Coyle, I think at the minute Spurs suit less of the ball. That's an argument. That's a fair argument to be had. I think Chris Wood is so underrated. He's a great striker to have on the bench or to come in as a backup. Listen, he's been great for them, and he did quite well previously at his previous club as well. Spurs balled out in the second half against Liverpool, but lack end product. I think Liverpool have been crap as well, though, mate, if I'm honest with you. I haven't been impressed by Liverpool this year at all. They've actually gone to pot. One Spurs King says 2-1 to the Spurs. The sporting journey, 2-1 either way. Totspur, 3-1 to the Spurs. The 2 marks, 3-1 to Spurs. Ian JD5193 says Tottenham 1, Forest 1. And I'm going to let you into a secret, people. This is my prediction as well. I think it's going to be 1-1 score draw, and everyone is back to square one. Nothing changes. Gary Officer says that his head tells him 2-2. His heart tells him 2-1 to Spurs. Dropkick Teacher, 2-1 to somebody. That's also what the sporting journey said. Min Bao going for a 2-2 draw. Big up Eugene, Spurs with Asian TV. Make sure you get over there and support his channel. He's saying an easy 2-0 to Spurs. John Chivers, 3-1 to Spurs. 1-1 as well. 2-1 to Spurs, says Craig. 2 to Forest. Oh, my Lord, there's going to be a meltdown if there is. I'll tell you what. If it's 4-2 to Forest, Stelagation Squad, we will be cooking. Stelagation Army will be in full force. I tell you, oh my Lord, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Okay, I can't seem to get the image off the screen. And the Enoch Out one has appeared. Fantastic. And that's gone. Lee Moody, 2-1 either way. There's a lot of you that are saying 2-1 either way. I want you to stop sitting on the fence and tell me 2-1 to who, right? 2-1 to who? Jordan says Spurs had far less of the ball in the first half against Liverpool. Yeah, we did. Psycho teacher, Spurs will win. Forest are worse than us. Well, the league says that they are worse than us because they're below us. Spurs 3, Forest 2, says Jordan. Rodney's gone 3-2 to Spurs as well. Guys, there's a lot of goals in this game. There's a lot of goals. Brain says 4-2 to Forest. Hart says 3-2 to Spurs. That is a completely different set of results there. Adam, big up to you. Hope you're doing well. I used to always do 3-1 Spurs, but I'm going to say 4-1 as I think they'll throw the kitchen sink at us near the end and we'll get another. 4-1 will be emphatic. What I will say is if we do beat Forest, I think Spurs will 100% stay up. I don't see a world where we don't beat Forest and get relegated and don't stay up, sorry. If we lose to Forest, though, all bets are off. Jordan says Spurs will concede defensively vulnerable. Yeah, we always concede. In big games, discipline becomes an issue with these players. They don't like pressure. They don't like the stress. This is a club. Spurs win. Frank was too busy micromanaging every kick of the ball, making the game more about himself than the players. Dropkick teacher says, I just saw a report that Chris Wood played and scored for the Forest B team today. Choo-choo! Of course he comes back for the Spurs game. If you ever wanted someone to come on live with you, mate, I'll be up for it. I've started enjoying it so much. Love having a laugh and a joke with you. Adam, big up, my man. Do you know what? Let's make Adam a mod. Add as moderator. Save. Stelagation will be there. Yep. Do you know something I want to talk about actually before we continue? Dave Hotspur says, just win by any means necessary. So I saw this today, right? I saw this, and it's a statement that's come out for the pre-match party on the high street. The protests have been cancelled. Boycotting has been cancelled. We're taking no action against ENIC. Instead, the fans have been asked to turn up, salute the bus arriving, get behind the team, make it a special atmosphere, yada, yada, yada. And they put out this statement, okay? I'm gonna read it out, and I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. You might not like what I'm about to say, but it's just who I am, mate. It's who we are, mate. Tottenham Hotspur means everything to us. It always has. Generations of us, families, friends, strangers, brought together by the same badge, the same community, the same pride, with one job: to support our team. Time for reflection comes later. Right now, we're in the run-in with big games ahead. So our team, our players, our coaching staff, our team behind the team, our club, we're not going anywhere. We are with you. From the atmosphere in the stands, the belief in the streets, to the roar that players walk out onto the pitch. For every remaining minute of the season, we are right behind you. We'll be there for every step, and we'll be your 12th man throughout. You will hear us. To every single player wearing our shirt, we walk out with you. We remain behind you, whatever may come. We can't control what happens on the pitch, but we'll provide everything you need off of it. We believe in you. This is our club. All together. Always. Powerful stuff. Rally cry. That's the message that's been sent out to every single Spurs fan that's going to the game on Sunday. It's a rally cry for you to go support the team, get behind them, join in the street parade, and make it a wonderful atmosphere. Now, my honest opinions on this, guys, is this, okay? Please don't take offense. I'm just saying it as I see it. All right? The opening line, the first thing that's said is Tottenham Hotspur means everything to us. It always has. If that was true, then why aren't more Spurs fans standing up against ENIC? The damage that this ownership has continually inflicted on us, on our team, if the club means everything, surely more action would have been taken. If it means that much, why has no more action been taken than what we've seen in the last 5 years, especially this year? So I struggle to buy into this. Tottenham Hotspur means everything to us. It always has. But if that's true, you've allowed ENIC to rip it apart. You've done nothing about it. So for me, guys, and I'm being really honest, because of that, this message is virtue signaling, designed to make you, the Spurs fan, feel good and ignore how the standards have been absolutely depleted at our football club, and for you to forget what ENIC have done to Tottenham. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. We're not in a relegation battle. We're not out of every cup competition. Our fans, though, in my opinion, they're going to love this message. They're going to love this rally cry, because I just feel that our fans are easily pleased. They're easily led. They're easily satisfied. That's who we are now. We're low standards FC. And enjoy the street party. We're 16th in the league. That's my honest interpretation of it, people. That's exactly how I feel. If the club meant that much, we would have been boycotting, not spending money in the club shop, protesting, demonstrating, but nothing. But nothing. And there's one other line here that I struggle with, okay? I struggle with. It's the part that says, to our team, to our players and our coaching staff, we're not going anywhere. We are with you. So why did half of you walk out the stadium when we were 3-1 down to Crystal Palace? Why did half of you walk out of Madrid when we were 4-0 down after 25 minutes? Why was there 12,000 empty seats last night? Again, I struggle to believe. We are behind you. We're not going anywhere. We're with you. Until you don't like what you see and you give up and walk away. So this is why I say I think this is all virtue signaling, designed to make you forget, to make you feel good, to deflect away from ENIC, to not take action. And it's why I'm not on board with it. I'm simply not on board with it. What are your thoughts? Okay. You're allowed your opinions. I'm allowed my opinion. Let's discuss. Okay. I'm going to bring up your comments on this. I'd like to know what you think, and we will dissect. Let's see what everyone has to say. John says, we need calm heads on Sunday. No red cards. Dropkick Teacher says, why are we told to get behind the fans? It's the players' turn to step up. The players should always step up. Tottenham are the only side without a Premier League win so far in 2026. Only 3 sides have had longer runs without a win. Yep, that's true. But will that change on the weekend? Matt says it's pure waffle. Mimbao, very touching. How come you don't have super chats? It's because the channel hasn't been monetized yet. You've got to do a certain number of videos and get a certain number of views, Adam. The two sheriffs, what a load of bollocks. It's up to the players to get us cheering. Back them. Spurs don't win from behind, so if we concede first, we're in big trouble. And let's see how many fans stay if that happens. Big up, Stel. Big up, Les. Hope you're doing well. This club. Darryl Denton asks, will there be jelly and ice cream and rides and unicorns at the street party? I think Mimbao sums it up. Only when it's convenient. Only when it's convenient. I agree. Exactly, Stel. Enoch out every day. What will they say if we lose? Well, let's see what happens and then we'll know what's what. If we win, there's nothing to say because job done, right? And there will be no more Enoch out noise. I guarantee you there will be no protesting after that. If we go down, then the fans must protest, push. Yeah, but that's too late, isn't it, Gary? That's too late. The whole point of protesting is to avoid that from happening. Having said that, I want us to go down because I feel that's the only way it's going to change because our fans aren't going to do anything. And the proof is in the pudding. You're seeing we've just basically said, no more protesting, no more demonstrations, keep buying from the club shop. Dropkick teacher. Spot on still. I thought it was a performative bullshit too. Mate, it's virtue signaling, in my opinion, in my view. They just want a rinse and repeat of this season, so fed up with this pathetic and spineless fan base, they will get what they deserve. Exactly, still 100. We've gone backwards since the game-changing stadium opened. Absolutely. Well, that was the master plan, wasn't it? They wanted that stadium. They've got their masterpiece. They've got that cash flow. They've got future NFL, maybe franchises in the pipeline. They've got their property developments building around the stadium. They don't care about football. There's loads confused. They love the club conditionally only when they win and now only if we survive relegation. Pretty much. Exactly that, still. Bang on. Big up, Les. Mark says, I agree with you, still, but understand this approach as well. What, in my opinion, we should have done is do the protest earlier on in the season. Now we should back the team, in my opinion. Why can't you back the team and protest? Why can't you protest? And then when the whistle blows for kickoff, get behind the team. Because let's be honest, a street party isn't going to do jack shit. Having a big fanfare is going to do jack shit. When the whistle blows and the game starts, that's all that matters. That's what really matters. Eugene Spot, big up, amigo. Adam says, that's why Jordan, at least whenever asked a question, I didn't agree with it. I would always make a bit of a joke about it. Listen, we're all good, guys. We're all good. We're all good. Psycho Teacher says, it sounds like an authoritarian leader trying to convince the people to die in the name of the cause. I just find it unbelievable that the first sentence is Tottenham Hotspur means everything to us. It always has. But they've done nothing about the complete and utter dismantling of the football club by Enoch. If it means that much to you, why have you done nothing about it when it's been ripped to pieces and we're just a banter club? We're a complete farce. Brian Maguire, big up. He says, even if we go down, I don't think there'll be many numbers for protesting. The only way things will change, people, is if there is financial distress on the owners, which is why if you boycott games, then they're not earning money. If you don't spend in the club shop, they're not earning money. Only hurting their pockets is going to cause any kind of change. And unfortunately, our fans aren't prepared to do it, which is why I said, right, then it has to be relegation. And it's caused a bit of a stir. David says, Stel Barmy Army, keep fighting for your club. One day, many of your fans will turn around and admit you were right all along. Do you know what? It's not about being right. It's about Tottenham just being good. And with Enoch, I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? Adam says, I personally think they brought in Frank thinking he would just stabilise the club before Poch coming back in the summer, hence the signings that they made. I don't think Poch is coming back, Adam. I think they've got another plan. Mark says, yeah, I agree. No street pie. David again. He's a Newcastle fan, by the way. Thanks for watching a Spurs channel. Newcastle won 90% of our home games immediately following big Mike Ashley protest. The fans carried the energy and passion to the stadium. Players always raised their game. Jordan says the statement is cringy. It comes down to the players. Lee Moody says Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, unfortunately. So one last thing I wanted to cover is someone said to me, Stel, you're never happy. Stel, you hate everything. Stel, this. And I said to them, listen, I'm not happy with mediocrity. I'm not happy with constant failure. I was super happy when we won the Europa Cup. I freaking flew over there, drove through 7-8 hours of motorway and country towns to get to Bilbao. I supported us winning the trophy. I was jumping up and down. I even said, fucking hell, we've got to keep this manager. I was in positive spirits. But Stel's never happy. I'm happy when we are winning. I'm happy when we are good. I'm happy when we're respected. I'm not happy when we get battered every week, lose games, in a relegation battle, out of every cup competition. How can you be happy with that? And then you know, people say, oh, but can't you see the positives? Can't you see the green shoots? No. No. For me to believe that the momentum has shifted and that things have actually changed at Spurs, I'm looking for one thing and one thing only. Whether it's now, next season, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years' time, can we please win 5 games in a row? When you win 5 games in a row, something's happening. And do you know the last time we did that? It's when we beat Coventry away, then we beat Brentford in the league, we beat Karabag away, we beat United away, then we beat Ferencváros. This was under Ange Postecoglou. 5 games in a row. And that was the season we won the Europa Cup. So give me 5 games in a row and I can begin to say, hold on, something's changing. That's the last time we had 5 games in a row. And then after that, the injury crisis began and the wheels came flying off and all hell broke loose. And, you know, but we need to actually have proper momentum. You know, getting a point at Anfield, you know, being Atletico Madrid, but being kicked out of the tie, that's not really it. We need more than that. Again, on the weekend, if we don't beat Forest, then what? A draw's not good enough. We need to win. It's not the be all or end all, but we have to win. It's got to be wins. You've got to win games of football. Win, win, win. Sporting Joni says, I agree, still the club have mentioned nothing about Poch. The fan base started the rumour. Jimmy Hotspur, big up. How you doing? Hope you're well. Psycho Teacher, ladies and gentlemen, smash the likes. Yeah, smash the likes, people. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. You know the drill by now. Get involved. 2 marks. Still, we are the same. We just want better for our club. Yeah, I think the thing is, I believe all Spurs fans want better, but some are prepared to try and do something about it. Others just want to moan and complain and whinge and whine. Hey, how can you go through life being a moaner? I'm someone that likes to take action, you know. I like to act on what I think. And I struggle when people don't have that in them. I'm a hammer. We're protesting against our scumbag owners every game. It doesn't affect the team. They know our cause. Mate, I totally agree. Big up Ben Davies, 9878. Spot on Stel, keep telling the truth no matter what people say. I will try. Queen Ellie in the house, ex-Spurs ladies footballer. If you didn't know, she used to play for Spurs ladies. Hernia op is official on the Spurs official Stel. Yeah, but does that mean he's not going to play on Sunday, or is he going to play on Sunday then do the hernia op? Ellie, that's the bit that I don't know about. Stel is so often misunderstood. Adam says, have you seen the lad on TikTok that said he wouldn't cut his hair until Tottenham have won 5 games in a row? Listen, he's going to save a lot of money on haircuts because he ain't getting a haircut. He's not getting a haircut for a very long time. If it's Kinski, no watering the pitch, please. Oh. We'll probably be on the pitch with the hair dryers drying the pitch. Darryl Denton. With that, win a string of games, not flip-flop from every result. Like I said, too easily led, too easily satisfied, no standards. We are no standards FC. Did your owner sack Ange as they knew he wouldn't accept such poor transfer windows? Looking back, how could they sack a manager immediately? Listen, it's divided the fan base. I changed my mind on Ange. I said that if he wins the Europa, we've got to keep him. I think what you're seeing now this season was sacking a man who had a happy camp and we tore it all apart for no reason. Some will argue. Some will say, nope, that's not what happened. Queen Ellie says, versus Arsenal, Kinski last season was so nervous. It's pressure. It's pressure. We want the same as you, Stel. The sooner Enoch get out of our club, the fucking better. Yeah, but we need to do something about it. I might put a cheeky $5 on Kinski man of the match. I'll tell you what, give me the $5. When he doesn't get man of the match, I'll give you half the money back and I'll keep £2.50 for saving you a $5. How's about that? Maisie's Adventure, here to support your channel, mate. Thank you, Maisie. Appreciate it. Darryl Denton says, to win 5 games, you need to play well for 90 minutes a game. That rules us out. Adam says, big up Maisie. Jimmy Hotspur, do you see a glimmer of hope in the last 2 games still? I don't do hope. I just don't do hope. I just do facts. The facts are there is pressure on Sunday. Let's see what happens. I just go by facts. Hope is the biggest weapon in this fan base of creating optimistic blindness and fake positivity. Hope, you know that saying? It's the hope that kills you. It's killing us. In fact, it's almost killed us. So I just can't do hope, Jimmy. I mean, to hell with hope in this club. Blade Runner, the Gooner. But you're having fun. By the way, come on, City. Blue Moon. Carabao Cup final. We need Man City to win it. Please, if there's any justice in this world, Erling Haaland will score a hat-trick and smash Arsenal 3-0. So the news is that Vicario is going to play on Sunday. Listen, if he needs an operation on his hernia, is he 100% fit to play? The fans, based on their excitement over the last 2 games, have set themselves up for an embarrassment on Sunday. I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1. Sacking Ange only made sense if the manager coming in was an upgrade, not Thomas, no trophies, Frank. And do you know what? That's fair, because if you brought in Jurgen Klopp, I would not have been complaining one bit. But I never got on board with Thomas Frank, guys. You know, I think those of you that watch me on YouTube and you've seen the content or the shows I've been on, I think you could kind of gather I was never really on board with the Thomas Frank thing. I went along with it so I didn't get vilified, but I never believed. They sacked Ange. It was a financial result as we finished 17th and cost upwards of 80 million. See, this isn't quite right, because finishing 5th and finishing 17th, the difference is about £35 million in lost revenue. But winning the Europa and qualifying for the Champions League is going to bring them over 80 million. So the 80 million that Ange has brought them, minus the 35 lost, is a net 45 million. So he's made them 45 million because we won the Europa, which gave us the Champions League money, which negates the league position losses. Spurs had no pressure against Liverpool, as everyone predicted 6-0, and the tie was already over against Madrid. It's all about turning up in this high-pressure match on the weekend. Listen, I 100% agree. And this is why I haven't got all carried away about Archie Gray, Mateus Tell, and beating Atletico and getting a point at Anfield. For me, it's all about Forest. That's the game that will decide so much. No doubt about it. Big up L Ferguson 4730. Hope you are well. We couldn't play Solanke because he had a sore throat, but we are playing a keeper that requires an operation. Big up still. Big up Dio. The fraud himself. Sean Butler is in the house. Big up, Sean. Hope you're well. Hope you're over your birthday hangover. My Mateus Tell. What are we doing, people? What are we doing? It's our cup final, says Hotspur. My team Sunday, Vic Danzo. Oh, right. My team on Sunday is Vicario, Danzo, Romero, Spence, Porras. So you're dropping Van der Ven. Interesting. Paulinho, 100% agree. Paulinho, Gallagher and Sarr, Simmons, and then Richie Mwani. You've dropped Archie Gray. Has he not deserved to start ahead of Gallagher? Because the result we got at Liverpool, the 1-1, and the win against Atletico, both Pape Sarr and Archie Gray played. So I would probably play Gray and see if he can actually play in this pressure game. I wouldn't play Gallagher. I would definitely start Simmons. Richie Mwani, yes. Drop Tell, yes. I agree with everything except for Gallagher. Most important game since. Listen, Champions League final was the most important game and we fucked it. The second most important game was the Europa Cup and we won it. This is the third most important. Silverware must always be the most important games because if you've got standards, your standards are glory. Relegation, yeah, it's important for many fans. And is it as important as winning silverware? No. And how do I know? That is fact. Because if you ask every Spurs fan, would you take relegation if you win the Champions League? Pretty much every Spurs fan would say yes, which means trophies are the priority, right? So this is the third biggest game, in my opinion. Absolutely, Lee Moody agrees. Sean, he's also dropped Tell. Scandalous, because Tell's not very good, Sean. You're blinded. We never win the League Cup. Oh, Arsenal. Yeah, you do have a habit of bottling it. Wasn't it a couple of years ago? Birmingham City did you in the League Cup final. Listen, let's hope history repeats itself. And you have a stinker, and Man City is celebrating, and we can have a song and dance to celebrate your misery. That would be nice. Although you are the favourites going into this game. I reckon Lubo just got a shiver down his spine. What, because I said play like Gray? Would you move on Solanke this summer? Yes. I don't rate him. I've never rated him. We've got to do better than Solanke. Why change now? The boy's up for it. You're talking about Archie Gray, right? Jordan, a comment for Sean. Sean, you're someone who doesn't do chats. You just want the camera. Although Sean was just in the chat. He was just in the chat. I remember 1997. I don't want to see it again. This is about relegation. Stelagation for the liberation, people. Gallagher has been a tragic signing. Our fans hyped him like he's Iniesta. Listen, I said it at the time. If that's going to be the main signing, it's a waste of time. when we signed him. If we signed Gallagher and Lookman and another goal scorer, then I would have kind of understood it. But just to be Gallagher, oh man. I'd rather have Chadley over Tell. Do you know what? Mido. Was it Mido that scored a few goals for us? Would you have Mido over Tell? There's a big question. The thing with Ange, despite the number of losses in the league last season, you hardly ever lost by more than one goal, right? Always looked very competitive. Listen, it was kamikaze football. It was the Wild West. Anything was possible. But injuries definitely fucked us under Ange. And to be fair, Frank got fucked with injuries as well. The amount of injuries at Tottenham, I don't know any manager that could have really coped with it, but it is what it is. Tell plays like an academy player with a high ceiling, but it will be a while for him to get there. We will see. Igor will play Dragusin. I'm not so sure, you know. I think he's going to start Danzo as well. I don't know how I kicked myself out of the studio, but somehow I managed to kick myself out. Apologies, everyone. It wasn't on purpose. Sometimes it just kicks you out. I loved Mido. Yes, Mido the Yido. Lose 1-0 or 3-0, it's still a loss. Yeah, a loss is a loss and a win is a win, right? Win 1-0, win 3-0, it's still a win. And should have dropped back 10 yards. Totally agree. 100% agree. Chadley was the best average player, needs more respect. Love Chadders. So Mark would play Vicario, Porro, Romero, Danzo, VDV. So VDV at left back. Gray, Paulinia, Simmons, Tell, Richie and Solanke. So he's dropping Moani. He's dropping Spence. I wouldn't drop Spence. I think Spence is our best 1v1 defender in the wing-back role. And he's also dropping Sarr and Gray. That is a big call, mate. That is a big, big call. That is a very big call. I don't know if I agree with that. In fact, I don't agree with it. I don't think so. Do you think Simmons will start? I don't know. I really don't know. Last time Spurs had a big game, 3 goals conceded and a red before half time. Oh, Lord. Pub player. Yeah, Igor starts the game with Atletico with him. That Igor, he is a pub coach. Not a fan. Listen, Igor's got it all to prove this game. This is the one. See, this is the game he's been brought in for. This is the game he's been brought in. If he wins the game and Spurs stay up, this is why he was hired. So for me, this is a must-win game. A draw, it just buys him more time and we're still in the shit. We've got to win this. I had Gray in there. Maybe Spence in 50-50 on there. Did you have Gray in there? Oh, you did. Sorry, mate. Beg your pardon. You dropped Sarr. Yep. I take it back. So Coach L. Roch has gone for Vicario in goal, Van der Ven, Danzo, Kuti and Jed. Why is everyone suddenly playing Van der Ven at left back when we've never done it under Tudor? There's only so much chopping and changing we can do. I think you've got to start Porro and Jed. Porro further up actually gives us something. But you've gone Van der Ven. Tell Archie Gray, Sarr. Oh, you have started Porro. Oh, so you're going 3 at the back. Danzo, bro, I can't do 3 at the back. Hold on. Right, so you've gone Jed, Spence and Porro, Van der Ven, Danzo, Kuti. I can't do 3 at the back. I don't know if you've only just tuned in, but I was saying earlier, we're doing our analysis. This season, we've gone 3 at the back twice against Palace and against Arsenal. And in both those games, we got battered 4-1 and then we got battered 3-1 when going 3 at the back. The 2 games we went 4 at the back, Fulham, we only lost by a goal. And against Liverpool, we drew. So to want to go three at the back, and I think that's what you tried to say. I've lost your friggin' message now. Where was it? I should have started it, and then I would have been able to. There it is. So to go Van de Ven, Danzo, and Kuti three at the back, I think we're asking for trouble. Jed and Porro, the wing backs. In midfield, you've got Archie Gray and Pape Sarr, which I can get on board with. And then a front three of Tell, Dominic, and Richarlison. I wouldn't start Dominic Solanke. I'd rather go Mawani because I think Mawani in the 10, and I've been arguing this, I think he's rubbish across the front three, but in the 10, I think he can create, and he has proven he can do something there. But he's got to be next to Xavi Simons. That's the only catch. Or he's got to drop into that pocket more so. Hotspur has gone Vicario, Danzo, Romero, Van de Ven, Spence. Again, three at the back. Why are you going three at the back, Hotspur? What are we doing, people? Why is everyone going three at the back? It doesn't work for us. He's got Graham Paulinho. He's dropped Pape Sarr. I can see why you do that. Mawani starting. I totally agree. Xavi. So, yeah, Mawani and Richie up front. Xavi in behind. I totally get that. Paulinho and Gray. I'm all right with that. I just can't go with the five at the back. Three at the back. I can't do it. Everything else you've said, I'm on board with. Do you see Gray as a good player in the future? Possibly. But, you know, one of the reasons we're in this mess as a club is because we've got players like Gray that we've signed and he's playing. Is he the reason? No. But he's part of the problem. He's had a good couple of games and everyone's just going mental. Let's see. Listen, my honest answer is, Brian, I don't know. That's my honest answer. I genuinely don't know. You've got to do it at the highest level. Otherwise, we will never progress as a football club. I thought Dominic Solanke is out again. Great point. We don't know. So you're going for a 4-4-2? Really? I never saw that with your... lineup. Let me get your lineup back up. Where did I put your... Right. So 4-4-2. So you're going Van de Ven left back, Danzo and Kuti in the middle, Jed right back. Tell on one wing, Porro is a right winger. Right, Archie Gray and Sai in the middle, Dom and Richie up front. Okay, I would not play Van de Ven as a left back because I don't think this is the time to experiment. Experimenting in such an important game is asking for trouble. I get what you're trying to do, but this isn't the game to do it. But yes, I agree with you going 4 at the back. That I can get on board with. That sounds cool to me. Hotspur has gone 4-4-1-1 Mawani left wing. I don't like Mawani as a winger, Hotspur. I think he's crap on the wing. I think he's better in the middle. Would you take Arteta? Only if we get to spend £1.2 billion more than any other club under one manager in the last 5 years, like you have, except for Chelsea because they spent a little bit more, then yes. I don't rate Arteta. I just think he's been given everything he wants. He's been given incredible spending powers, and they stuck with one manager. Unfortunately, Spurs, who have spent a lot of money as well over the last 6 years, they've done it under 7 managers. So if we're going to stick with Arteta for 6 years and give him 1.2 billion, then yeah, why not? But I think there's better managers to give 5 years and 1.2 billion pounds to. And that's my honest opinion. I'm not just trying to fire shots at you because you're a gooner. But any manager that gets 1.2 billion and 5-6 years, listen, what more do you want as a manager? First goal on Sunday is critical. How cliche has that become? First goal is critical. God knows with Tottenham, you never know. Mawani and Simmons behind Richie. Now you're talking. Now you're talking my language. Then just let those two do what they want, like Redknapp did with Van der Vaart. Listen, now you're talking. This is how I see it. Archie Gray is only 19. Need to give him a break. He's been shoehorned all over the pitch. Spurs have lost their last 3 Premier League games against Nottingham Forest. There are a few bad omens. First of all, it's this. Secondly, before an international break, we always choke. And the referee, is it Mike Oliver? He always tends to dislike us. I think it's fair to say. Very cliche because we play better when we're a goal down. Do you know what? Let me just under Tudor. So against Arsenal, they scored first and we lost. Against Fulham, they scored first and we lost. Against Palace, we scored first and we lost. Against Liverpool, they scored first and we drew. And against Atletico, second leg, we scored first and we won. So under Tudor, I don't know if that's true. I don't think the first goal matters, people. I don't actually think it matters. Second is critical too. Right. Are we just going to say the first goal is critical, the second goal is critical, the third goal is critical, the fourth goal is critical, oh, and the fifth and the every goal is important, damn it. Listen, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what we're going to do with the pressure this weekend. Are we going to just rise above it and smash Nottingham Forest out the park? Are we going to buckle, choke and shit the bed and lose? Or are we just going to somehow draw? Only at Southampton 5 do Nottingham Forest have more away wins in the Premier League than they do Tottenham 4, winning this exact fixture 2-1 last season. Do you know what? These stats are pretty terrible. 3-1 to Spurs. The 9th goal is probably the most important. Anyhow, it finishes 5-4. This is going to go down as the greatest ever comment in pre-match history. All right, people. Listen, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. It's coming up to an hour and a half. I'm going to switch it all off. Wish you a good weekend. You, your families, your loved ones. I hope you enjoy yourselves and you have safe times. I am going to see if I can redirect to someone. Do I have redirecting powers? Make sure you smash the like on the way out. Share with your friends. Let them know. Let's see who's on, if anyone's on now. And I'm just on the back end of YouTube. Do you know what? I can't redirect. I think it's because I've not been monetized. It doesn't allow me. All right. Well, if anyone else is on, guys, go over there and go support your second favorite Spurs YouTuber, because I am your number one. How cheesy was that? And remember, as always, no matter what you do, where you are in this world, and what's going on at Tottenham, it must always be ENIC out. For things to change, our hierarchy needs to change. Enough is enough. Let's see what happens on the weekend. No doubt there'll be loads of content coming out on Sunday afternoon after the match. And hopefully Man City win the Carabao Cup final. People, thank you. Love as always. Peace. Have a good one. And enjoy yourselves until the next time.